My name is Paul Wolver. I'm the owner of Pinellas Power Products. This is my wireless remote control shutoff for Honda's new EU2200i's. The EU2200i's is simply a more robust version of their original EU2000. And in keeping with that, my wireless remote control for it is simply a more robust version of the EU2000 wireless remote shutoff, and it's better matched to the electronics of the EU2200. Included in the kit, number one, a flyer with a simple description telling you that you bought the greatest thing since sliced bread, a flash drive with a shameless advertising plug for myself, and the installation instruction video for the product. There are two long zip ties for mounting the battery, several smaller zip ties simply to tidy up the work area when you're done. This is the transmitter. You push this button to shut the generator off. This is the receiver, and it's what shuts the generator off. A battery charger and a battery. This battery will work with my original EU2000 and EU1000 wireless remote controls because it does have a 5-volt output on it. It has a 12-volt charge cord, so you have to charge it with the cord that came with it. But then you can use this battery pack either as a longer term or a more powerful battery for the EU2000 or using it with the EU2200. The EU2000 you'd simply plug into the USB port on it. So the first step is going to be to go ahead and plug in the battery, charge it up. Then you'll take the side cover off the generator. Take a piece of wire. I'm going to use yellow wire simply because it is easier to see it when I feed it through. What I'm going to do is feed the wire through the second hole from the end on the vents that poke straight up through here. And the reason I'm going to use this wire is simply it's a fish tape to allow me to pull the charger cord through. And it's a lot easier than trying to feed the charge cord on its own. So we'll feed this wire This is probably the trickiest part of the entire install. Okay, so I've got it fed through here. Now I'm going to bend a slight hook into it, which will allow it to go in the end and come out the second hole from the end. Now we'll take the battery charger that's included in the kit and simply tape it to the fish wire, which will allow us to pull it through more easily than trying to poke the charger wire. Notice I did not say it was easy. I just said it was more easily done than if we did not use a fish wire. It's still a bit of a pain. And And as I stated earlier, it's probably the most difficult part of the entire install. Okay, so now we have the power plug routed through. The charger will simply plug in to one of the outlets on the front of the generator and run the cord right along here. Now that you've got the cord run through, try to find the end of your tape so you can untape it. Now if you'll look right here, right behind the factory on-off switch, you'll see a 2-wire plug. I believe the wires are brown and black. At any rate, it's the only 2-wire plug down here. Squeeze on the tab so you can unplug the plug from the factory harness. And here's what the plugs will look like. You simply squeeze this tab right here, and they pull apart. This portion of it is mounted solidly into the generator, and this portion will plug in. With that done, take the half of the plug that you just unplugged and plug it into my harness. Then take the other plug from my harness and plug it into the side that goes to the factory shutoff switch. These two plugs will tuck down in the bottom now. Coming out of the shutoff module, there's a wire. This is where you plug the charger into it, and this is what you plug into the battery. What I'm doing is simply tucking the module in behind the fuel lines. What it does is it raises the module up. If you put the module down here, then you get the engine block in the way and it'll shorten the range of it slightly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the battery charge wire and plug it into the wiring harness right here. And we will tuck that in behind the air filter. Then we'll take the two long zip ties that are included in the kit. We will fit one around the wiring harness for the throttle stepper motor and the float bowl vent tube. And just leave it loose. The next one will fit around the float bowl drain tube and the wiring harness that goes to the throttle stepper motor. Then we'll take our battery pack. Notice the battery pack has an on-off switch. When you're ready to use it, make sure that it is in the on position, which would be like this. Pushing on the 0 would be off, pushing on the 1 would be on. When you press on the on switch, you'll see it lights up LED lights that tell you what the level of the battery is. In this case, it's about 80% charged. Slide it into the two zip ties. And snug them down. I strongly recommend putting the battery pack in so that the lights face outward. If you charge up the battery pack at your house before you go camping, the battery pack without the charger hooked up lasts about 2 weeks in standby mode. If you're using this generator as an inexpensive APU on a semi-truck or something, and you want it to be or stay charged, then I strongly recommend you plug in the battery charger to the generator itself and run it the way I did. If you don't have the patience or whatever to run the wire through from the vent into this area, then simply charging it up at your house or running the wire around the outside is an alternative. I just like everything to stay nice and clean and mounted inside. So now we make sure that the battery is turned on, and you can tell it's turned on by the row of LED lights. The installation is now complete. We'll go ahead and put the cover on. Now I'll go ahead and start it. I'm not going to leave it running very long because we are in a small enclosed area and carbon monoxide being what it is. Turn the stock switch to the on position. With the stock switch in the off position, the generator simply will not run. Go ahead and choke it and pull on the recoil. And these generators seem to start really well. Okay. Now to shut the generator off, you simply push the button. If the battery is dead, you'll be able to confirm it by opening it up and looking at the lights. But if the battery is dead, when you hit the button, the RPMs will drop down to the point where the generator is no longer producing a charge for the battery or powering the radio module. And when it drops that low, the generator will rev back up again. You press the button again, it'll die down and then rev back up, die down, rev back up, but it won't completely shut off. But if you look at the row of LED lights on the battery, you'll confirm that the battery is dead. You can either charge the battery at your home or simply leave the generator running for about an hour and it'll charge the battery up on its own. But at any rate, it's that simple. And that should just about get it.